Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we've got another episode. We are doing, once again, Congressional Donors, Part 9. Um, as always, have my notebook. But, we are going to go over the next 5 people in Congress and their congressional donors. So, let's hop right into it. First off, we have Brendan Boyle. He's 42-year-old, and he represents the 2nd District of Pennsylvania. He is a Democrat, and he is serving his 3rd term as a United States Representative. He graduated from Notre Dame and then graduated from Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government. He was a radio broadcaster. He was a management consultant, an adjunct professor at Drexel University, a member of the Pennsylvania State House of Representatives, and finally elected to his current position as a member of the United States House of Representatives. Now, as far as House committees, he's on the Committee for Budget and the House Committee for Foreign Affairs. Now, let's look at his top 5 individual donors. Number 1, the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Union. There is little actual information, but I mean, clearly it's got to be a union that represents plumbers and pipe fitters. But it donated $15,000. Next, Comcast Corporation. They are a telecommunications company conglomerate based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and one of the largest telecommunications organizations in the world. They donated $13,200. Next, the Auto Care Association, a not-for-profit trade association that represents 150,000 businesses that manufacture, distribute, sell, and install motor vehicle parts, tools, accessories, equipment, materials, supplies, and services. And it's based in Bethesda, Maryland. And they donated $10,500. Next, the Vanguard Group. They are an American registered investment advisor based in Malvern, Pennsylvania. And they donated $10,500. Lastly, we have the American Crystal Sugar Company, which is starting to become a common name for Democrats we're seeing. They are a national producer of sugar-based in Minnesota, and they donated a total of $10,000. Now, let's look at the top 5 industry donors. Number 1, lawyers and law firms. Altogether, they donated $77,534. Next is building trade unions, who donated $67,500. Then pharmaceuticals and health products, which altogether donated $65,050. Then industrial unions, which altogether donated $52,000. And finally, public sector unions, which altogether donated $50,000. And that was Brendan Boyle. Next, we have Kevin Brady. He's 64-year-old and represents the 8th District of Texas. He is a Republican, and he is serving his 12th term in the United States House of Representatives. Now, he graduated from the University of South Dakota, was a member of the Texas State House of Representatives, and then elected to the United States House of Representatives, where he now resides. His House committees is the Ways and Means, of which he is the chairman. Now, let's look at the top 5 individual donors. Number 1, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits. They are the largest wine and spirits distributor in the United States. They're headquartered in Miami, Florida, and they donated $57,000. Next is the U.S. Anesthesia Partners. It's an organization that provides anesthesia patient care services, and they are based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And they donated $56,250. Number 3, Berkshire Hathaway. They're an American multinational conglomerate holding company, and they're headquartered in Omaha, Nebraska. And they're led by the Oracle of Omaha, Buffett. I forgot his first name, but he's the older gentleman, Buffett. But anyway, Berkshire Hathaway donated a total of $55,550. Then we have MetLife, and MetLife Incorporated, and they're the holding company for Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, better known as MetLife. It has 90 million customers in 60 countries, and is ranked number 43 on the 2018 Fortune 500. And it is headquartered in New York City, New York. They donated $53,450. And this brings us to Ryan LLC, which is next on the list. And they are a tax services and consulting firm with more than 14,000 clients in 50 countries. They are headquartered in Dallas, Texas. So they donated 48,000. And it is the only one of the top 5 donors for a representative from Texas that's actually from Texas. Now, let's look at his top 5 industry donors. First is Securities and Investment, which altogether donated $382,575. Next is Insurance, which altogether donated a total of $375,550. Next is Oil and Gas, which altogether donated a total of $356,435. Next is Health Professionals, which altogether donated $317,650. And lastly, Pharmaceuticals and Health Products, which altogether donated a total of $315,550. And that was Kevin Brady. Now, let's look at Mike Braun. He's 65. Mike Braun is 65-year-old and is one of the 2 senators from Indiana. He is a Republican, and he's serving in his first term in the United States Senate. He graduated Wabash College and then graduated Harvard Business School. He's been a farmer, a manufacturer, a distributor of accessories, a member of the Jasper, Indiana School Board, a member of the Indiana State House of Representatives, and finally elected to the U.S. Senate. Now, as far as the Senate committees he's on the Committee for Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, the Committee for Environment and Public Works, the Committee for Budget, and the Committee for Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry. Now, let's look at his top 5 donors. Number 1 is the Senate Conservatives Fund. They are a political action committee that supports conservative Republicans for Senate. They donated $186,321. Then we have the Club for Growth, a 501c conservative organization with an agenda focused on cutting taxes and other economic ideas. And it has two political parts: an affiliated PAC called Club for Growth Political Action Committee, and then we have Club for Growth Action, which is an independent expenditure only super PAC. Altogether, Club for Growth donated $110,058. Now, next is Jasper Engines and Transmissions. They are an auto shop that works on gas and diesel engines and transmissions, and they're headquartered in Jasper, Indiana. They donated a total of $45,800. Now, next is the Alliance Resource Partners. They're a diversity co-producer and marketer, and they're headquartered in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They donated a total of $40,400. And his number 5 in top individual donors is Reyes Holdings, and they are an American food service wholesaler and distributor. In 2016, it was the 12th largest private company in the U.S. It is based in Rosemont, Illinois, and altogether it donated $37,800. Now, let's look at his top 5 industry donors. At the top of his list, we have, I approve of it, Retired. The Retired altogether donated $679,691. Next is Republican Conservative Groups, which altogether donated $456,065. Next is Securities and Investment, which altogether donated $405,922. Next is Leadership PACs, which altogether donated $259,500. And lastly, we have Real Estate, which altogether donated $212,861. And that was Mike Braun. Now, let's look at Anthony Brindisi. He is 40-year-old, and he represents the 22nd District of New York. He is a Democrat, and he is serving his first term in the United States House of Representatives. As far as his background, he graduated from Siena College and then graduated from the Albany Law School of the Union University, my apology. He was a lawyer. Then he was a member of the Utica School Board. Then he was a member of the New York State Assembly. And finally, he was elected to the United States House of Representatives. Now, the House committees he's on are the Committee for Agriculture and the Committee for Veterans Affairs. His top 5 individual donors are, at number 1, the State University of New York, which of course is, as it says, it's the State University of New York. So it's that particular institution of education. And they donated a total of $45,593. Next is Swing Left, which is a group that gets Democrats elected, and they donated a total of $37,208. Next is Democracy Engine, which is a web-based platform for organizations that fundraise for candidates and causes. They donated a total of $34,867. At number 4, we have AmeriPAC, the Fund for a Greater America. And they are a political action committee operated by Democratic members of Congress. And they donated $28,900. And at number 5, Hamilton College, which of course, again, is that particular institution of education, Hamilton College. And they donated $28,894. Now, let's look at the top 5 industry donors. Number 1, lawyers and law firms, which altogether donated $478,277. Next is retired. That's far better than lawyers and law firms. But altogether, the retired donated $314,402. Next is education. Again, I approve of education, which altogether donated $289,741. Next is leadership PACs, which altogether donated $247,482. And lastly, Democratic or liberal groups, which altogether donated $193,861. And once again, that was Anthony Brindisi. And lastly, the last member of Congress we're going to talk about is Mo Brooks. He's 65-year-old, and he represents the 5th District of Alabama. He is a Republican, and he's serving his 5th term in the United States House of Representatives. He graduated from Duke University. He graduated from the University of Alabama School of Law. He's been a lawyer. He was the Tuscaloosa County, Alabama prosecutor. He was a law clerk for Circuit Court Judge John Snodgrass. He was a member of the Alabama State House of Representatives. He was the Madison County, Alabama District Attorney. He was the State of Alabama Special Assistant Attorney General. He was the Commissioner for Madison County, Alabama. And finally, he was elected to the United States House of Representatives. So, let's look at the committees he's on in the House. He's on the Committee for Armed Services, the Committee for Foreign Affairs, and the Committee for Science, Space, and Technology. Let's look at his top 5 donors. At the top, we have the Senate Conservatives Fund, which he's in the House, but he made a failed run to be the Alabama senator. So that's where the Senate Conservative Fund money comes in. And they are a political action committee that support conservative Republicans for Senate. They donated $44,065. Next is the House Freedom Fund. They are a group to help get conservatives elected to Congress. They donated $27,500. Next is Leo Law LLC. They are a law firm headquartered in Huntsville, Alabama. They donated $19,150. Next is ABC Supply. They are a major private American roofing supply company headquartered in Beloit. My apology. Headquartered in Beloit, Wisconsin. And they donated $16,200. And finally is the Co-Bed Services Incorporated. I couldn't find too much on them, but they seem to be a transporter of coal and are based in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And they donated $13,500. Now, let's look at his top 5 industry donors. At number 1, retired. Again, always approve if you are getting help from retired or retired representing groups. Altogether, they donated $96,422. Next is Republican or conservative groups, which donated $91,190. Then we have health professionals, which altogether donated $61,540. Then we have real estate, which altogether donated $55,995. And finally, defense aerospace, which altogether donated $55,150. And that was Mo Brooks. And I will have this, try to have the sources in the description below, as I normally do. But that's kind of it for the video. As always, even though I don't have the sign up yet, I've been refixing it. Educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. You're a pawn. You're a puppet if you don't. Educate thyself. You know, you put yourself at a disadvantage if you do not. It's not to say there's anything wrong with working with your hands or doing manual labor, but educate thyself so you know, so you understand. But I will see you all again in the next video. But until then, later.